Hello again, everyone, and welcome to the Junior Bowlers Gazette here in Newark, Delaware. We're on location today at the Blue Hen Lanes in Newark. Steve Turnberger with Gary Trumbore. And Gary, today, good matchup. We have the youth adult Scotch doubles here on the Bowlers Gazette. Two good teams going today.
Yeah, we have the, we're going to start off with the Bantam division. And both these Bantam bowlers are in the junior top 10 lists for this season. And it should be a good match. It really should.
Okay, we have Jim Brooks and Jane Brooks taking on Stephanie Marek and Ted Marek. We're about set for game action from Blue Hen Lanes. It's going to be one bowler. We'll take one ball on each frame for each team, and then we'll just go through the bowling here at Blue Hen Lanes. Let's get right to the action with Stephanie Marek. She'll start it off, 11 years old. Goes to St. Hedwig's High School, or St. Hedwig's Junior High. One of the top young bowlers in the state. Stephanie with a current average of 139. First roll, first frame. She'll leave a pair.
That's a difficult split there, Steve. Giving her father a hard shot to start off the match with.
This is Ted Marek. His current average at 172. First frame, second ball. Nice split.
Shot.
Beautiful mark in frame number one for the Mareks. And Gary, that's important. Try to keep the marks early in the match, build up the lead, just keep the consistency.
That's right.
Throughout the frames. Okay, here's James Brooks, I'm sorry. James will lead.
Okay, the lanes are a little bit tight, and the ball isn't quite coming up into the pocket.
Here's mother Jane Brooks. Jane, 36 years of age. Second ball, first frame for the Brooks. Got him.
All right. Nice shot.
Pair of spares in frame number one for both teams. Remember, this is a youth adult Scotch doubles. One of the Bowlers Gazette junior tournaments. Here's James Brooks. James will drop 9.
Jim and Jane have a 3-pin handicap advantage here, and that 3 pins might look awful big near the end of the match if they keep making these spares.
Here's Jane. She'll try to turn the spare again as she did in frame one. On target. Both teams looking very impressive. Stephanie Marek, one out bowl. And Gary, this is one of the top young female bowlers in Delaware right now.
Yes, it is. She was #1 in the Bantam top 10 list that we just had on the show a couple weeks ago. Actually, she should have a little bit of an advantage here. She's bowled on TV before at Silverside Lanes in our top 10 tournament last year. She was one of the top 5 qualifiers and had an opportunity to get a couple of practice shots on TV, so she should be a little more accustomed to the lights than the other people.
Ted Marek and the Marek combo will have their first open frame in frame number 2. Here's Stephanie to start the third frame. Stephanie.
A little bit high.
And she bowled against a young lady by the name of Caruso in that tournament up at Silverside, correct?
Yes, she did. Yes, she did. She lost that match.
Here's Ted. Second ball, frame number 3.
Good shot for Dad.
Good spare for the Mareks. James Brooks, 11 years of age, out of Holy Rosary. He's a 6th grader.
As you can tell, Steve, the lanes are a little bit oily, and his ball is just sliding right down the lane. It's not catching anything at all.
Is that something where the younger, but not really inexperienced, but the younger bowlers, that's just something they got to work on throughout their career, I guess?
That is. You're absolutely right.
Jane Brooks. Third frame.
Good shot for Mom.
The Brookses are even. 3 spares and 3 frames. They hold a slight advantage here after 3. It was 40-24 after 2 frames and both combos working on spares going into the 4th. Here's James. James got him.
Good shot.
Big roll for James Brooks. Stephanie Marek. Just slid down the right side of the alley. And Father Ted really needs something here. Needs a lot of wood here. Second ball, 4th frame.
A little bit high.
Second open frame of the match for the Mareks. And now Stephanie will open frame number 5.
She sure shows a lot of determination.
Stephanie will leave 2. And here's Ted.
That was the 5-8 that she left her dad.
You need a spare to stay in this match. Ted's on target.
Oh.
We'll come back to the Junior Bowlers Gazette here in Blue Hand Lanes right after we take this timeout. Back at Blue Hand Lane, Steve Turnberger with Gary Chumbor here on the Junior Bowlers Gazette. Moving into frame number 5. This is the Youth Adult Scotch Doubles Championship, Bantam Division. Qualifying rounds were held down at Bolorama Lanes. Jane Brooks.
Good ball in the pocket, lefty 8-pin. They should make a match a little bit different now, because now the younger one has to pick up the spares. That's a little bit more difficult.
Here's James Brooks.
However, he didn't make it look too difficult.
Nice spare from James Brooks.
Jim and Jane have a good sized lead right now. They're about 45 pins in.
Score through 4 frames for the Brooks, 80. Marek's 54. Brooks working a spare here in frame number 6.
Good shot.
Jane Brooks, her first strike of the evening.
That's good. It puts little Jimmy back on the leadoff spot.
That's got to be a psychological factor, right? For the mother having to pick up the spares.
Absolutely.
And the kid just throwing them down there and blowing the wood away. Stephanie Marek.
Good ball. We're getting ourselves a match now.
Both teams working on strikes now, going into frame number 7.
Let's see what Dan can do, see if he can come back with another one.
Ted Marek. They'll leave a pair for daughter Stephanie.
Left her the 6-10.
Stephanie has been bowling in league play since she was 7 years of age. Right-hander using a 10-pound ball.
Oops, she slid on that one.
Just slipped on the approach. And Gary, is that a situation where she just lost her footing or lack of concentration?
She was rushing to the foul line and lost her balance.
Another open frame in number 7 for the Mareks. Here's James Brooks. A little high for James. And again, Mother Jane will try to complete a spare here. Big key in the match, Gary. Brooks have not had an open frame throughout.
That's right. They've really been very consistent.
Jane.
And they continue their streak. 7 marks in a row.
Good little team here. James Brooks.
They have about
Jane
a 58-pin lead.
Going into frame number 8.
They're about ready to put this match away.
James. Got him.
All right, look at this.
Big roll for James Brooks. 11 years of age, Holy Rosary student.
Steve, our adult matches don't have scores like that.
James has a high score of 199. Here's Ted Merrick, needs a strike.
Left to 610. See if she can make it this time.
Stephanie with just about the same shot she had in frame number 7, but now bowling on lane 4 here in Blue Hen Lanes in Newark, Delaware. Stef.
Did the same thing again.
About the same problem. Another open frame for the Merricks. They finish
That
frame
puts it
number
away.
8 with 88 points. I'm sorry, 88 pins. And the Brooks with 140, working a strike in the 8th, going into the 9th. Ted Merrick in the 9th. Guess we're bowling for pride the rest of the way here. Brooks has had this one wrapped up. They're going to be our youth adult soccer doubles champions.
Might have been a mistake for Ted to get that strike back in the 6th frame. Stephanie's having trouble with the spares.
Steph
There
got
she
one.
is.
Good spare for Stephanie Merrick in frame number 9. And now Jane Brooks will start number 9.
And they're on a strike. Mom has a very nice, smooth delivery.
That slid a little right on Jane Brooks, and son James will try to turn a spare. Remember, they have not had an open frame throughout this match. 140 through 7, working a strike in the 8th. Second ball, frame number 9. James, good ball.
He got it.
Good
Or
roll
he might
by
have
James
a little
Brooks.
trouble with that one. He kind of rushed it, didn't take his time, just went up there and threw the ball, and it went where it's supposed to go.
Going to the 10th.
What was that you said? The ball has eyes?
That one found it. Jane Brooks.
Uh-oh. A split in the 10th.
Tough split coming.
Left the 5-6 for little Jimmy. And he made it.
Nice ball.
They went through the whole game clean, Steve.
And now a spare in the 10th, and the Brooks will get one more ball here to complete their match. 178 through 9 frames, working a spare here in the 10th. Last roll for the Brooks.
197.
Good score, Jane Brooks and Jim Brooks.
I believe that's the 3rd highest game we've ever had rolled on our TV show, Steve.
That's their best effort of this tournament.
Absolutely.
They rolled 148, 170, 148, and 99 to make it here to the championship. Ted Merrick online.
Now he comes back. I bet he's wondering where that ball's been the last 4 frames.
Trying to make it look respectable here. Ted Merrick, here's Stephanie. Stephanie Merrick. She will leave that 10 pin in the far corner. And Ted Merrick will complete the bowling here in the youth adult Scotch doubles from Blue Hen Lanes. Good spare. Good spare in the
128
10th. Ted
to
Merrick.
197.
197 to 128, your final score. We'll be right back with more news on the Junior Bowlers Gazette. Steve Turnberger saying so long from Blue Hen Lane. Stay with us right here on Rollins Cable.
Blast from the past.
He thinks he's eating chicken pie. He isn't, though. Actually, he's eating Worthington chicken flavor pie. It contains no meat or meat byproducts. Worthington products contain no cholesterol and are low in saturated fats. Pound for pound, Worthington products are more nutritious and less expensive, and that's important to us.
And it tastes good, too.
Back back at Blue Hand Lane. Steve Turnberger tonight with Dr. Bowl. Today we have the junior division of the youth adult Scotch doubles here in the Bowlers Gazette junior tournaments. And Dr. Bowl, today we have Renae Forte and Gaeton Forte taking on Mr. Bowlers Gazette Gary Trumbauer and David Feliciano. And the big key here is Trumbauer and Feliciano will be giving away 52 pins.
A lot of wood. Got to see what happens.
It's got to be a psychological factor for Gary and David.
No doubt about it.
Okay, let's get to the bowling. We'll start here from Blue Hand Lanes. I believe Gaeton and Renae will take the first frame here in frame number 1, junior division of the youth adult Scotch doubles. Remember, Gaeton and Renae with a 52-pin handicap to start this one. First ball, first frame. Gaeton, nice strike.
Big break, Renae.
I'm sorry, Renae. Good correction. Renae in frame number 1. Now Dave will start frame number 2. Dave is a sophomore, 15 years of age at Delcastle High School. Been bowling for 4 years in league competition.
Looks like we're going to have a high-scoring match here, especially with all them pins.
Pair of strikes for both teams. Here's Gary Trumbauer. I know Gary talks a lot about bowling. Let's see if he has any talent in this sport.
Yeah, I've seen him a couple times. Gary uses a lot more muscle than he needs.
I was just going to say that. He smoked that one down lane number 3 here at Blue Hand. And he'll leave the spare for Dave. And Doc, I guess in Scotch doubles, it's better to have the younger bowler starting the frame and then have the older bowler try to pick up the spares.
Yeah, the older bowlers are usually a little better spare shooters, as Renae just substantiated. I mean David.
David. We'll get him straight. It's only frame number 2. This is Gaeton Forte. Remember, youth, adult, Scotch doubles. Gaeton, his first ball.
A little wide. Looks like he has good form. It's just not polished enough. Doesn't use his balance yet. Does it say how long he's been bowling?
Gaeton with a current average of 125, 2 years in league bowling.
2 years. Almost an identical shot to same miss.
Renae, that's the first open frame for the Fortes here. Go to frame number 3, and Gaeton will start this one off. If they had their preference, I'm sure Gaeton would rather have Renae starting a frame. He'll look for a strike here.
A little full, a lot easier spare for Renae this time.
She'll be rolling on lane number 3 here at Blue Hand Lanes, Newark, Delaware. Junior Bowlers Gazette here on Channel 2. Renae, do it right down the pike.
I think we have the early frame jitters. They got out of the gate with this strike and missed a couple of spares. Should have been a little closer to that one.
What's the psychological factor with the TV cameras and the lights? I don't think it'll affect Gary, but the other 3 bowlers have got to have some kind of factor.
Probably is, especially the first 2 or 3 frames. I'm sure that Gary would have an edge.
Gary with a strike there, his second ball. And here's Dave.
Of course, that 52 pins, that's 5 opens. Boy, that's a big difference.
Dave right on.
Uh-oh.
Big mark.
That makes up 10 of them pins with a double.
Dave and Gary now working a pair of strikes in frames 3 and 4. First ball, frame 4 for Gaeton Forte. Shaking his head on the approach and do it down the gutter.
I don't think we can get an instant replay, but he had that ball in his backswing so soon, it couldn't do anything but go to the right.
Is there anything you could do when you feel the backswing is not where you like it? Just got to let it go,
you shouldn't have started it. Yeah. But sometimes you can stop. It's not really recommended.
Renae.
Wow, right back.
Good mark. Good mark from Renae. They needed that one.
Renae has a reasonably good balance, but if you'll notice, the ball doesn't do much as it goes down the lane. The problem is her upper body is leaning over too forward, and as she comes out of the ball, watch her hand, it's wide open. If she can get her shoulders back, get down with her legs instead of with her upper body, and close her hand, be a different story.
Gaeton, frame 5.
Gaeton is real cautious. He's going to have to loosen up a little bit.
Looks a little hesitant.
Yeah, it makes it really tough if you're not swinging the ball with any fluid. You're going to be in trouble. Now watch your open hand. See the open hand? You can't get any revolutions on the ball if you don't close your hand when you throw the ball.
Cannot turn the spare. We have completed 5 frames for the Fortes. Back with Dave and Gary, their 5th frame. We'll take this time out, come back to Blue Hand in just a minute.
30 pins are gone.
Back at Blue Hand Lanes, we're going to start frame number 5 for Gary and Dave. Renae and Gaeton, about a 20-pin lead here going into frame number 5 for Gary. Remember, they're spotting 52 pins in the Fortes. Gary, he just tries to throw it right down a pike and blow him away.
Yeah, not much finesse, but he's going to be effective if he stays around the head pin.
Here's Dave. Remember, Dave and Gary working a pair of strikes here in frame number 5.
This would be a big spare.
Needs that
Just
10.
missed.
Can't find the 10 pin in an open frame for Gary Trumbor and Dave Feliciano.
Our spreads now is 31 pins. Gaeton and Renae have 31 pins of their 52 left.
Here's Trumbor, frame number 6. Gonna leave a tough split for Dave.
A little high again. I think Gary was a better bowler a couple years ago. He seemed to use a little more finesse a couple years ago. Maybe he's not practicing. That was pretty close. Good shot.
Nice split attempt by Dave. And now we'll go to the Fortes.
Back to Gaeton. Now let's see if Gaeton doesn't move that ball into a swing so quick this time and get a little more freedom in that swing.
Gaeton, 41 years of age, has 3 children.
A little closer, but too cautious, way too cautious. On the left side, almost got away with it.
And I believe he'll leave pin number 9 for daughter Renae.
And now watch how when she comes through the ball, her upper body just folds forward. See how it just folds forward? If she would keep her shoulders back, the ball would be much more effective. And if she would close her hands, she would get some revolutions.
How much can you teach a young bowler when they're trying to progress in bowling? Is it something where they can get too much information and they just try to work on too many things?
I teach a high school team, and you have some kids that really can't wait to learn. And you could make a kid a 180 bowler in the second year you're with him, which is only really about 3 months 1 year and 3 months the other year. You can make him a 180 bowler if he wants to learn. If he doesn't want to learn, he could bowl 20 years and not learn.
I guess the influence they have when they get out here and just start throwing them around when they're young, that's probably worse than anything before they get the lessons. Renae can't get the spare. Another open frame for the Fortes. And we'll go back to Gary Trumbor. He will start the frame for Gary and Dave. Frame number 7.
Game's getting late. They better close up some of that gap. Still 90 miles an hour. See, when you're swinging the ball clean and you got a lot of rhythm in your swing, a lot of times you'll trip that stuff. You get a lot more strikes with a good touch than you will with power.
Dave needs a spare.
Just missed again.
Couple inches off. Tough open there. Frame number 7 for Gary and Dave.
39 pins. They really better do something here. Renae and Gaeton have got them on the ropes.
52 pin handicap going to the Fortes. Gary, leave the 10 again.
Again, too much power. Stays around the head pin. Leaves a relatively easy spare. But Dave's going to have to start making a few of them.
And again, like we said before the match, Dave's got to pick up the spares. Would be much easier if Gary could take them.
That's right.
Here's Dave. Footwork wasn't perfect, and it showed.
David has to use his legs a little more. Typical young bowler wants to use his strength, and you have much more strength in your legs than you do in your arms, and not to use your legs is really a mistake.
Gaeton, construction worker with an average of 125, and this one will fall off.
Yeah, he's just locked up. Looks like somebody put handcuffs on him. The first couple frames he was much freer than he is now. He just locked himself up. However, with them pins and a couple spares that Renae has made, has been the difference.
And I believe she hit a strike last time that happened.
Yeah, real close that time.
She'll pick up 9 in frame number 8.
All right, we still have a 39 pin spread. There's only 2 frames to go.
9th frame for Gaeton Forte.
Gary and Dave really have to do something here because they're in trouble. Now he lost his balance a little that time. He hasn't been losing his balance. That was the worst one. He's probably getting a little frustrated now, but he shouldn't be. They have a 39 pin lead.
Last 2 frames of the match. This is where it's going to be won or lost. Second ball, frame 9. Renae, freshman at Concord.
All right, big spare. That's probably going to lock it up. 39 pins and a mark. Going to make it tough.
There's Gary.
See if Gary and Dave can make a final charge here.
Almost needs a strike here, frame 9.
Yeah, he does. It's a little wide in the pocket, a little wide. The speed causes the ball not to develop. This less speed has more deflection, so the harder the ball is more powerful. However, if you throw the ball harder than the amount of lift and turn that you can put on the ball, it depletes the efficiency of the ball. Hence, he almost got a 5-7.
Gary, frame number 10. Nice spare there by Dave Feliciano. And Gary got this one.
Stoned that one. They couldn't get out of the way of that one.
Big ball.
Give Dave a shot here. Let's see. Let's take a good close watch of Dave this time. Doesn't take too much time on the approach. He stands up on the end. Let's watch how he stands up on the end.
Dave with a 162 average.
Just pops out of it with his legs a little bit. If we would keep that trail leg down and go down with the slide knee, he would be delivering the power from behind the ball. When he lets his leg pop up, then his hand comes over the ball. You can't lift the ball from the top of it.
Gary. Needs a spare, got it. Nice
Big
ball.
spare,
Gary
146.
Chumbora.
2 big marks right on the end, but I don't think it's going to be enough. Well, I know it's not because Gaeton and Renae already have 145 in the 8th and a spare up.
Gaeton Forte. Working a spare in frame number 10. Gonna slide to the right.
Well, as long as he doesn't plan to go out on a pro tour, he'll be all right.
Only been bowling for 2 years, I'm sure. Gaeton's gonna stay in the construction business.
Yes, sir.
Why not? They're out here to have a good time.
That's right.
Renae.
Little wide, but she didn't need it. 167 and 146. Gaeton and Renae are the undecided champions.
In the
Undisputed
Undisputed, that's right. It is decided. In the youth adult Scotch doubles, that was the junior division. Renae Forte and Gaeton Forte, your champions here from Blue Hen Lanes. We'll come back with the presentations right after we take this time out.